and has meaning. Each moment is meant to be experienced and cherished. Welcome to Anxiety Simplified Podcast. I'm Joanne Williams, and I'm going to share ways to refocus this anxiety energy to a more productive and effective way to go through life. You already have all the tools. I'll just remind you how to use them. We'll be tuning into your own power to choose and find more joy and peace. Let's get started remembering this wisdom.
Hi, Joanne Williams here, Anxiety Simplified, where when you're fed up with anxiety or worry and you just want to feel freed up, listen to our comprehensive podcast about everything about anxiety relief. Today's topic is 10 benefits of getting an emotional support animal, or should I get a psychiatric service animal, and what's the difference? We will have a guest today who has an emotional support animal and why she got it and how it helps her. So today's summary: why people get a ESA and 10 benefits, the difference between ESA and psychiatric service animals, as well as therapy animals and traditional medical service animals. And our guest will discuss how her emotional support animal helps her. And one of the other podcasts called Emotional Support Service Animals, we discuss many of the misunderstandings and misperceptions around emotional support animals, or ESA as they're called. And these misunderstandings are on the internet with scams and how to get an ESA letter, what I call the right way. So check out our other podcast for more of the details on these misperceptions around ESAs. And if you're interested in getting an emotional support animal or psychiatric service animals, you can go to our sister website, ESAPros.com. That's ESA, like emotional support animal, pros, PROS.com. And see how to pre-qualify in 1 minute. So let's start off to share some facts about the difference between an emotional support animal, an ESA, or a service animal, or a therapy animal, or a psychiatric service dog, a PSD. An ESA, or emotional support animal, is not an ordinary pet. They become a protected class once they qualify as an ESA, as helping with a daily functioning because of psychological issues. There are 2 laws that govern ESAs with additional rights: the Air Carriers Access Act and the amendments to the Fair Housing Act, or FHA, of 1988. To qualify for an emotional support animal, you must have a letter from a licensed mental health professional stating that a person has a diagnosis or been diagnosed from a mental health professional, and their psychological condition must significantly limit at least one of their basic life activities, such as work, social, intellectual, or emotional functioning. There needs to be a recommendation on the letter for the ongoing treatment to be an emotional support animal, and that's the recommendation, is that they have an emotional support animal that helps with that daily functioning. They receive a letter on letterhead stating that and it does state the daily functioning affected, never a diagnosis, because that is nobody's business about what your medical or psychological condition is. But the daily functioning will be there. The letter is given to the airlines for airline travel and the property manager for housing, to be in no pet housing. The emotional support animal is about the person qualifying, not the animal. The person needs the animal for their emotional support to function better in life, to function, just you can do more things because you have it. To be a service animal It is the animal itself that qualifies, that needs to be able to do a task for a person, like a seeing eye dog, predicts low blood sugar, helps with hearing impaired, or, to know if somebody's at the door, or it's about the animal. The service animal doesn't have a letter, but it does need to be trained to do a task. A new category of service animals is the psychiatric service dog that is trained, but trained to help with psychological symptoms like panic or post-traumatic stress disorder, and they can or must be trained to recognize and respond to these psychological symptoms. We do issue a letter verifying this, and we do also have a photo ID if that's what's wanted. But both of these classes of service animals do fall under the Americans with Disabilities Act law that did come after the Fair Housing Act. Therapy animals are another category of trained animals that are given rights to go into nursing homes and hospitals because they are trained to do that. But they help, with people to help them bring them more joy or happiness, or, help people that are medically impaired. Medical research is so prolific and profound as to how our animals calm and soothe us. Our animal friends give off a pheromone that is the same one that we feel when we fall in love. It is just makes us feel so much better. And who doesn't need that right now in these new realities of worries we're living in with viruses and job insecurities, unemployment and never-ending financial pressures? And I'm going to give you 10 benefits of having an emotional support animal. And to prove this point, there's 15 airports currently that have therapy dogs with handlers because they know that a dog in the vicinity of people helps calm people down. Airlines understand this and should be glad to have more people with their animals on the planes. Wouldn't you think, if it helps us all? Think about if you saw an animal when you're stressed out flying, we'll see what everybody does. They go right for the dog, and it just helps everybody relax just a little bit. So here is 10 health benefits of having an emotional support animal. Pet your stress away. 10 minutes of interacting with cats and dogs produce a significant reduction in cortisol levels, a stress hormone. Effects of petting a dog on your immune system and functioning. Research that dogs and their owners share much of the same gut bacteria reduce the risk for immune disorders as asthma and allergies. Improve heart health. Studies show having a canine companion reduces cholesterol and decreases triglyceride levels, contributing to better overall cardiovascular health with fewer heart attacks, which is less days out of work and lower medical costs. Dogs help you stay fit and active, and a study found that older adults who walk their dogs experience lower body mass index, fewer activities of daily living limitations, fewer doctor visits, and more frequent, moderate, and vigorous exercise. Yeah, because they're doing more. Help you lose weight? Residents who walked loner dogs 5 times a week lost an average of 14.4 pounds over a year. Maybe lower gym costs even if you just walk your dog. Improve your social life. Research has found that 40% make friends easier because they speak with other dog owners during their walks and they just open up easier. I hear that all the time, that people feel like dogs are icebreakers. reduces stress. Spending just a few minutes with a pet can lower anxiety, blood pressure, increase levels of serotonin and dopamine that play roles in calming and well-being. People performing stressful tasks do better when their dogs are around them. Wonder why dogs are coming to work. They ease tension both at office and if you're in a marriage between couples, easing depression for a variety of people that are old or young or sick. There's less marriage counseling costs needed and medical bills are less. They add meaning and purpose to our lives. Dogs help find structure and meaning in our lives. They even prevent loneliness, isolation, and is it a key to starving off cognitive decline and disease. They stave off depression. Dog owners are less prone to depression than dog-less owners because they help in so many ways of health and well-being. They can even prevent grandkids having allergies or worse allergies. Recent research shows dogs and cats lower a child's chance of becoming allergic to pets up to 33% and may develop stronger immune system, which can save medical costs or sick days. How about this one? Reduce doctor visits by 30%. A study established that if you're over 65 and own a pet, you seek medical help about 30% less often than people who do not have pets. Animal owners that are seniors reported fewer doctor contacts over the 1-year period than respondents who did not own pets. Owners of dogs were buffered from the impact of stressful life events also. Dogs help to battle disease and injury. It's believed that owning a dog can help detect, treat, and manage several or variety of illnesses and debilitations. Some dogs have been able to sniff out skin, kidney, bladder, and prostate cancer, among others, and need less medical testing with less copays. So get a dog. Save your life or have better health. So now we're going to hear from an ESA owner. Hi, Joanne Williams here, and I am up for Anxiety Simplified podcast, and I'm here today with a special guest. Now, it has an emotional support animal, and so we're just going to have a nice conversation around why did she get one and what's the benefits for her. So I want to introduce you to Jane, and I'm just going to ask her, Jane, why did you get an emotional support animal?
Well, we're very lucky that we got Dee Dee because not only is she an emotional support animal, but through extensive training, she also has passed everything to be a therapy dog. So not only does she give benefit to us to be calming and loving, but when she goes for a therapy appointment to hospitals, schools, anything that we're asked to do, she does not bark. She reaches out. People want to snuggle with her just like I do and my husband does. And she's a gorgeous dog. She's a silver gray standard poodle, and we were very lucky to get her. And we didn't know her personality really because we bought her sight unseen and had not met her. But it took us months and months and months of searching to get a standard poodle because of my husband's allergies. And she is probably the most amazing dog we've ever had because our first standard poodle actually had been in a Disney film. When she turned 3, the people retired and didn't want her anymore. And then our second one was raised by the same breeder. And when they've all been show dogs except for Dee Dee. When his career was over, they called and asked if we would like to buy him, and we did. But even though they were in the movies and show dogs, their personality was not like Dee Dee's. And Dee Dee's the type of dog that when people meet her, they want to pet her and snuggle with her because of her calm appearance. And her calm appearance actually is the way she is for her whole life. She's very easy to be around. People, when they see her, believe that she will be calm. And she even gives kisses right on people's cheeks. And people don't expect that from a dog. Most people would think that's impossible. And she wasn't trained to do that. That's just part of the caring, loving dog that she is. And the more training she gets, the more amazing that she is. And it's very interesting too, because not only is she a calm dog and brings calmness to you, but when I take her to a dog park, she usually can outrun every dog. And when all the dogs start barking, Dee Dee doesn't.
Oh,
So it's really a unique characteristic of hers, that she is very, very calm. And even though she is around other dogs that aren't calm, she maintains that quality. So that is really a wonderful thing now. And as you probably can imagine, we're big exercise people anyway, but she loves being out on walks, and she is never scared to do anything that we ask her to do. So she is a wonderful companion, especially during the times of the COVID pandemic, because it's a time that we are not really being social with anybody, even our kids. It's interesting. I'm remarried to a Canadian, and my kids are all in the U.S. His kids here, his daughter's not wearing a mask, and we're quite surprised. She was at first, and so because we're just really by ourselves and even play golf by ourselves, it's wonderful to have companionship and always know that Dee Dee is there for us. And I think anybody who gets a dog really needs to go through the training to make sure that their dog does what they want. And we did that with Dee Dee.
That is really
and the
important.
person who trained her is the one who told us that she had the makings of a therapy dog.
Okay.
And to go through and do that.
Can I ask you, Jane, why is it that you got her to be also as an emotional support animal? You know, most people to fly or to be in no pet housing. Why is it that you got Dee Dee as an emotional support animal?
Well, in general, my appearance looks like I don't need any type of an emotional support dog, because I've had a lot of really important jobs and had important clients and such. But underneath that all, there's a lot of uncomfortable feelings in me, because my mother died when I was 13. I was raised by a stepmother who was totally opposite my mom in every personality trait that there was, because I learned later in life that my dad didn't want to have a woman that he looked at that reminded him of our mother, who had died very young of breast cancer. So all the things that worry me and make me at all feel like I'm stressed out go away when Dee Dee is with me. And so when I say Dee Dee come, she comes right up, she snuggles, she quite often puts her front paws ahead in front of me around my neck and almost is hugging me just like a best friend would do, or my husband. So
does that make you feel calmer when she does that?
The comforting that she gives is not because of training, it's because of her personality.
Yeah.
And she seems to understand whatever our personality is, and she works with that with us. So that's what her ESA abilities are.
That's beautiful. What would you say to somebody if they're thinking about to get a certified emotional support animal? Why would you recommend that?
I think that by doing that, people really open a door in their lives to having a sense of calmness and a sense of enjoying their life no matter what the situation is. When things get tough and they've got their ESA dog, the dog can provide the things that they need without having to argue with somebody or make them believe that you need these things. They just totally are smart dogs that sense what it is that is emotionally going on, and they can read our minds.
Yeah. Oh, I'm so glad that you got her and have her in your life. And I really thank you, Jane, for being willing to share this, because I feel like sometimes people are even anxious or concerned about the process for getting an emotional support animal, and that makes them anxious, and they don't want to do it because they don't know about it. And it's a pretty easy, straightforward process that you've been through and understand. And I just appreciate you being willing to share this with my audience and listeners. And so thank you again for doing this.
Thank you for listening. Please support our podcast by rating, reviewing, and subscribing. Please, to show your support. And remember to use and practice a skill we shared today to feel the joys of life. Remember, you can always call us 760-485-6784 for that free 10-minute consultation where we can discuss your next step. Or you can go to our website at anxietysimplified.net for more on how to get certified for an emotional support animal today. And remember to share the love.